Following the news that Caterpillar will be leaving Wamego, owners of the manufacturing company Dymax announced late Monday that they'll be staying in Wamego. In a press release, President and CEO Scott Balderson said the company is dedicated to the community of Wamego. He said while the company is quite proud of its global reach, its heart still remains in the city and the surrounding region, and they will look forward to many more years serving and growing within the community. Dymax is an independent operation and is not affiliated with Caterpillar. Caterpillar announced on June 6th they'll be suspending operations in Wamego in mid-2025. The Riley County Law Board unanimously passed the 2025 budget at their monthly meeting on Monday afternoon. The final budget, which was agreed to at the Law Board's last meeting, totals out to $28.5 million and includes a 3.8% COLA. The total increase in the budget is 5.88% from last year, but as Law Board member John Mata said, residents will see a 6.84% tax increase because of this budget. He also explained the difference between the two totals, stating that the budget did not exceed 6% in its total increase, which is what the Law Board looked to avoid.
I just want to make sure that everyone understands what the taxpayer is going to see is the 6.84% increase. The reason for that is the carryover this year is approximately the same as the carryover was for last year. So the fact that we have that carryover net, it doesn't matter. I really think going forward, we shouldn't concentrate on this number, except concentrated on the net difference between the carryover year to year.
Law Board member Barry Wilkerson voted in favor of the budget on Monday, despite voting against publishing it back in May due to the budget not fulfilling what he felt RCPD wanted. The Riley County Commission on Monday unanimously approved a letter of support for a federal grant to help pay for Trails Project. The Flint Hills Regional Council and the Flint Hills Metropolitan Planning Organization are partnering to apply for the 2024 Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Program, a grant from the Federal Highway Administration and the U.S. Department of Transportation. The grant will cover two different projects. The first is the planning and design to connect Manhattan's trail network on Casement Road, Marlette Avenue, and U.S. Highway 24 up to Tuttle Creek State Park, a 2-mile stretch. There also will be some repairs to Riley Avenue. Both Manhattan and Ogden have a piece of Riley County's side of the project. Pottawatomie and Geary counties are also involved. Flint Hills MPO board member Jared Tremblay said this.
People were interested in trails. They wanted to see connections. This is an ideal utopia sort of connection here. There's a lot of private land there. We're not suggesting that at all.
Tremblay also said there will be a touch of urban connection to the trails.
This is a USD DOT grant, so this will be our first federal grant that we've ever gone after. And so what we're requesting today is a letter of support. And if we were to be awarded this grant, we're not asking for any local match. The local match for this grant would come from the Kansas, Build Kansas Hub. We have a request in with them. And so the split would be the federal money with then the state money.
Tremblay said finding a grant for the planning and design phase has been a challenge. Manhattan City Commissioners will look at whether or not to adopt the Move MHK Parks and Recreation Master Plan at tonight's meeting. The plan is a comprehensive 20-year vision for the future of the Parks and Rec Department. A significant component of the plan includes concept plans for Northview Park, Northeast Park, and City Park, as well as an indoor aquatic facility. The 20-year plan identifies a total estimated cost of $200,823,500. This cost includes the construction of a recreation facility with indoor water. The meeting gets underway at 6 p.m. tonight inside City Hall. The state of Kansas has filed a lawsuit against the pharmaceutical company Pfizer, accusing the company of misrepresenting its COVID-19 vaccine as safe, even though it knew the vaccine was connected to adverse side effects. The 69-page lawsuit, which was filed in the District Court of Thomas County, accuses Pfizer of, quote, misleading the public with its COVID-19 vaccine. The lawsuit also accuses the company's actions and statements related to the vaccine violated the Kansas Consumer Protection Act. Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach alleges that the company used these, quote, misrepresentations to generate record profits, which the company saw approximately $75 million over 2 years. Pfizer administered over 3.3 million doses of COVID vaccines in the state of Kansas, accounting for more than 60% of the state's vaccine doses, according to the state's Department of Health data. The lawsuit also alleges that Pfizer failed to disclose the limitations of its COVID-19 vaccine trials. Kansas is the first of 5 states to file a lawsuit against the pharmaceutical giant. Last year in Texas, Attorney General Ken Paxton sued the company over the state's Consumer Protection Act as well. Some Riley County government offices will start to operate on a new schedule starting on July 1st. At their meeting on Monday, commissioners agreed to change on a 4-month trial basis. It'll last from July 1st to November 1st. This change will not affect all county departments like the county attorney's office, the district court, or Public Works or the transfer station. You can find a full list of these departments affected by this change on our website at newsradiokman.com.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines as K-Man's Morning News continues. The Kansas City Royals took their lumps this past week facing off against two of the best teams in baseball. The Royals were put to the test against the Yankees and Dodgers, and it got ugly at times. The Royals dropping 3 of 4 against New York, then dropping 2 of 3 to the Dodgers over the weekend. But even after all that, Kansas City is 9 games over 500 and currently in the second wild card spot in the American League. Tonight they open a set with the A's, but manager Matt Quatraro doesn't want to hear about quote-unquote easier games.
Come Tuesday night, I'm not going to feel any different that, oh, now we got an easy stretch of games. It's just not the way this works, and it's not something I really want to keep talking about, that we played first-place teams and now we're not, because every game counts the same.
Kansas City playing its next 9 against Oakland, Texas, and Miami. Then comes a huge series with Cleveland, the current division leader, at the end of the month. Kansas City dropped 106 games last year, and no team has improved from that many defeats to make the postseason a year later. Coverage tonight from Oakland gets underway at 8 on News Radio KMAN. Two-way star Jack Caglione broke the Florida single-season home run record in giving his team the lead an inning after he struggled on the mound in Omaha yesterday and was pulled from that mound. The Gators eliminated North Carolina State from the CWS with a 5-4 win, advancing to an elimination game today to face Kentucky. The Gators are 4-0 in elimination games since regionals and 8-1 in winner-go-home games in the last 2 tournaments. Texas A&M scored all of its runs in the 6th inning last night. Ryan Prager held Kentucky hitless into the 7th, and the Aggies dropped the Wildcats into the losers bracket with a 5-1 decision. The Aggies are out to a 2-0 mark in the College World Series for the first time in 8 all-time appearances. Jason Tatum had 31 points, 11 assists, and 8 rebounds last night as the Celtics topped the Mavericks 106-88 to win the franchise's 18th title, breaking a tie with the Lakers for the most in league history.
It's a real feeling. Still hasn't really kicked in yet. Just trying, I guess, enjoy the moment. I kept saying, wow. These last 7 years have been a roller coaster, up and down. I had to listen to all the shit that people said about me. And tonight, it was worth it.
Jaylen Brown added 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists as he was voted the NBA Finals MVP.
My faith in the Most High, just believing in my teammates, my coaching staff, and just being grateful. I've been grateful for every moment, every opportunity. I never hung my head.
Luka Doncic finished with 28 points and 12 rebounds for Dallas, which failed to extend the series, having avoided a sweep with a 38-point win in Game 4. Kyrie Irving finished with 15 points on 5 of 16 shooting. After a blowout win in Game 4 Saturday night at home, Edmonton tries to keep the Stanley Cup Final alive against Florida in Game 5 tonight. Coach Chris Lomblock's team blasted the Panthers 8-1, but trail in the series 3-1.
I think momentum just last short periods of time, pretty much shift to shift, and maybe we got the momentum for the first shift, but I think that's about it.
Florida is 4-1 after losses in these playoffs, though, outscoring their opponents by a combined 21-10 in those 5 games that immediately followed a defeat. A win tonight will give the franchise its first title. Rory McIlroy took to social media yesterday afternoon to say his collapse at the U.S. Open was probably the toughest day of his career, and that he would take off the next 3 weeks to build himself back up. That means he'll skip the Travelers Championship, the final $20 million signature event on the PGA Tour schedule that has a limited field and no cut. McIlroy twice had a one-shot lead at Pinehurst number 2 until he closed with 3 bogeys over the final 4 holes. Bryson DeChambeau then won it with a sensational par on 18, hitting a 55-yard bunker shot to within 4 feet for par, beating McIlroy by 1 shot. It meant that McIlroy became the first player since Jim Furyk in 06 and 07 to lose the Open by 1 shot in consecutive years. Royals baseball tonight against the Oakland A's. Our coverage getting underway at 8 o'clock. The first pitch is at 8:40. The game this afternoon at 4 on News Radio KMAN.